If you love to use Canva with your students in your lessons, then you're going to really enjoy this new feature on Canva. So the first thing is I teach secondary math, so I put my problems in. And now as a math teacher, I need to use it a little differently. So if you don't have this equations app, it is very nice for typing in your equations. So from here, they added a poll feature. So if you go to Elements, you can search poll. And when you search poll, you will see poll and quizzes appear. So then you can pick what you would like to add. So I use this one with my students. And because the math equations don't type nicely here, I normally have them up at the top and then I put answer choices beside it. This case it's an integer, so it's okay. So what I would do is double click on this part and I would just change this to what I want them to do. Simplify, solve, whatever I'm asking them to do. And then you can put in some answers. And from here, if answer choice 4 is the right one, I would say mark as correct. So you can go in and you can change each of these. So if I was actually going to ask my students this question, I would just put in some numbers for them so they can solve it. Okay, so I would just put in the numbers for them and then again, just click the dots and you can get rid of answer choices. You can click add options to give them more options. I haven't found is where you can do like a select all poll or quiz. So right now it really seems to be more of a multiple choice style. And then after I teach a few, I might want to check in and see how are the students feeling about this. So I can add this poll here and just say, how are you feeling? So this is a really nice, real quick check-in. I can just ask the students. And so from here, what do I do to give it to my students? So I would click on share, and then I'm going to click on public view link. And now on the educator account, you're not going to have to worry about this part. You can just click public view link and click on copy. And then you give it to your students. So if I gave it to my students, and now I have them go through and I can have them answer a question. So if they pick the wrong answer and then they hit submit, it tells them they have it wrong and then it tells them which one is the correct answer. And then if I go to the next one and ask them this question, they can go through and answer these. Now, once they have the link, if you have like 10 questions you want them to answer, there's nothing to stop them. So once they have the link, you're either going to have to like set up how many questions you want them to do or be okay if they do them all because it's they can access all of them once they have that link. So for here, as a teacher, what I was doing is I've been giving my students like 5 minutes to do a certain number of questions and then we check them. But I'm like, you can work ahead if you want. And that way they can keep working if they are ready. So from here, then I can go through and I can check their responses and say, okay, well, it looks like our answers, we're all getting -6. And we can talk about why we might be getting -6. So this top up here is really nice because it gives you a breakdown really quickly as a teacher. Down here, you can see your student name, their response, and then the timestamp if you need that information. And then for the survey, this is also really nice. If you're doing the poll, you click on it, click on response, and you can see right away what the students are feeling. And then if you want to see which students picked which, you can look at the bottom and it will have them listed. You can also click download as a CSV. So if later you want to look and see, okay, which students said that they were struggling, if you're doing this as like an exit ticket or a quick check-in with students, you could download this and you could see later. But I do like that it is instant. And as students change their vote, it will update. So you can't go back, the students can't go back and change a vote on this question, but on the poll questions like this, they can go back and change it. And now on the teacher side, if I go back and I hit responses before, I clicked doing great. And now I'm clicking struggling a bit. And you'll see this is all 3 times that I've tested. I've clicked different answers. So you could see if you ask this question multiple times throughout a lesson on the same slide, if you ask them to keep going back, then you can see what they've put. And again, the time is helpful if you're doing this during class to be able to see when they're answering it. So this is a nice feature that I really like that Canva has. So if you're into Canva, You should definitely check this out. There is so many options that are already made. The other thing that's really nice about this is if you find a Canva presentation that already has questions on it, you can quickly put these um, in them. So let me just show you. If I find a question that I already like, then I can just go ahead and add this and just say answer the question. And I can leave what the slide already has with the answer choices here, and my students can just go through and answer the question. Now, if I wanted to quickly make a lot of these, what I would do is I click here and I'll just say answer the question on the left, and then I will go through and click duplicate. This does save time if you're doing the same style question. So from here, I would just add the question to the left, and I use this equations app to add my questions. And then all I have to do is go back in and tell it which one is the correct answer. So I could just click mark as correct instead of having to type this top line on every single one. It does save a little bit of time, but this is super easy and my students seem to like it. And it was really easy for me to see instant feedback during independent practice, where we were, who needed help, and how the students were feeling. So I would definitely encourage you to try it if you use Canva a lot.